Hi and welcome back to Darvanalee Designs Studio. For those that don't know, my name's Nicole Reed and today we are working on a Birdsville cushion and getting some more stitches into this. So let's get started. Good morning or good evening everybody and welcome back to the channel. Thank you for taking some time out of your day to spend it with me while I do a little bit of work on the Birdsville cushion. That's what it looks like as you've seen in the intro, and we're going to do a little bit of the stitching on the leaves today. We may cut out a little bit more felt and get some more shapes cut out, but today I predominantly just want to focus on the embroidery on the leaves. We have 70 leaves to do, so there is a bit of stitching to do. If you are new here, this is my segment where we do Slow Stitching Saturday, so everything is predominantly done by hand. So you might have some English paper piecing, you might have some embroidery, wool felt applique like we've got today, but everything is done by hand. Now, I have got myself all set up. I've got the camera in the right position, hopefully. I've got all of my floss. These are my CXC flosses. And I've got a new trolley, so I've got all my projects. So Slow Stitching Saturday has a shelf, then I've got my English paper piecing has a shelf. So all I need to do, instead of rummaging around looking for everything and finding a home for it, it's now got its forever home. It's great. It's I'll take a picture of it and insert it in here, but it's got all my projects in it, and it's even found some wool down the bottom because this week as you know, I've been doing some crocheting and I've been wanting to learn how to knit socks. And I just don't seem to get to it. I find knitting to be very slow and I don't seem to get to it and all that sort of stuff. So I found a pattern today, 2 days ago I found the pattern. So basically, I think that it will work, and it's crochet, but it looks like it's knitted. So I'm going to give it a go before I recommend the video. The video looks okay. It's well done, but I'm going to give it a go first, and then if it works out, I will recommend it. So I'm not sure whether I'm going to get to it this week because I've got a concert for the weekend with Darvanalee. I've got to go off and do that, and I'm not home. So I am going to pack some, but I do have an incredible amount of stitching to do for the magazine. So that is predominantly taking my time. So I haven't actually got any back stitching done on the tree. Only what I did on camera last time, and I've got no borrow table runner done either. And I've got such a small amount, but I am definitely not going to get to them until next week. I've had dentist appointments this week. I've had work stuff that I've had to do, and as I said, I've been incredibly busy with the magazine because we've got that coming out pretty much in around 4 weeks. That's coming out, so we're at the business end of the magazine, and it's a special edition as well, so it is a lot of stitching going on for all the designers at the moment, so we can bring you a fabulous magazine. So that has been taken. That is my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. And I do apologize for those that are waiting for it, but please be patient. I will get to it, and and you will get to see them sooner rather than later. I am focusing on the borrow this coming week, so I may not get any more back stitching done on the tree for the cushion, but we are going to do a little bit of embroidery today. So as I said, I've got all my stuff here. I'm just going to use my CXC threads. They're nice, they're thick, they're a little bit thicker than DMC, so that I think that they're going to show up a little bit better, in my opinion. 2 strands, it's thicker than a 12 weight. It's probably bordering on a pearl 8 maybe. So let's swing the camera around, and then that way you can see what's going on. Those that haven't seen the cushion close up, that's what it looks like. If you want to get this pattern, if you go to flyingfishkits.com, strange name for a website, but you don't forget it. Just so you know, you don't forget it. So head to flyingfishkits.com. This is actually Wendy's website, so you will be able to get the pattern there. I don't think, I didn't check whether it was a PDF pattern or not. I'm sorry, but I don't know if it's a PDF pattern or not, but you might be able to get the pattern there. Short of that, if you want a kit like I got, I will leave Just Patchworks links down below where you can go and suss them out. And if you're chasing some felt here in Australia, we have My Felt Lady. She's on Instagram, so you can hit her up for the colours that you might need. And if you're in the United States, I've actually left a couple of Amazon links for you, and they seem to have really good reviews and everything like that, and it looks really nice. I'm actually ordering some, and I'm going to order a couple of packs from them, and they're really, really reasonably priced, and they're in an A4 size, I think it is, or 6x12 pieces of felt, so perfect for this project. All right, so except you might need a little bit bigger piece for the tree. That was the only thing that I ran into the problem, was the tree. But for the coloured and all that sort of stuff, plenty there. And they've got a good array of colours. They've got spring-like colours. They've got autumn-like colours. They've got all of that sort of stuff. So, all right, so I don't know whether we are going to get to cut out any more fabric, any more wool felt today, because we have 70 leaves that we have to do some embroidery on. So I'm going to just do a little bit of embroidery while working on that. As I said, using my CXC threads, because I have a really good range of those, and I had these prior to me getting the DMC threads in and the Cosmo threads. So these were what I were using. I think you can just see them off the camera a little bit. These were what I was using before I got those in on my cross stitch. So that's why I have so many, and I got them off AliExpress, and I will leave a link down below. I'm not affiliated with the shop, but he's great to work with. He gets back to you in a timely manner. He ships out really well. The only problem we had was a little bit of delay over COVID, but who didn't? Yeah, so basically he's really good he's really, really good to work with, and I think that you should go and support his little shop. And he also does, I've been told, I haven't got separate, like I haven't tried to kit up my heids or anything through him, because I already had these kits here, and I had DMC that I kitted up before I got my own DMC in, and now I just kit up from that anyway. But if you're on a bit of a budget, and I know that I'm doing myself out of a sale here and all the rest of it, but hey, I understand the constraints of a budget. So if you are on a tight budget and you want to try these CXCs, they are pretty comparable with colors. And I might do a separate video where you can where I'll get the CXC out and I'll get the DMC out, and then you can see the comparison, because I haven't had any problem. There might be like a shade lighter or maybe a shade darker. It definitely hasn't been a completely different color in any case. So yeah, I find them to be great. I find them really good to work with on Ada as well. Like for 14 count, the coverage is brilliant, and if you're up in your higher counts on 32 and all that sort of stuff, the colors are just turning out really, really nice. There's a really good coverage. You can't see any of the fabric or anything like that. And so, but I have been told that the guy that we buy them, I have bought the full kits off, and when I say full kit, I'm talking 400 and something skeins of CXC, and I only paid I think it was like just under $80 for the whole lot. Now I know that there's been some price rises in that, and this was going back a couple of years pre-COVID, but I have heard that a few people are now kitting their heids up with that as well. And like at the end of the day, you may as well, if you're on a really tight budget, you know, DMC are starting to get a little bit on the exy side. I keep mine are $1 a skein, because I don't have the overheads that everybody else has, so I don't have to work that into my price to keep my business open. So yeah, but we're going to use that today, and we'll see how they stitch up. Now you've seen it, actually I used it on the tree here, and you can see there that it's 2 strands is quite decent for this. So that's all I'm going to use with the rest of it. There are recommended in the patterns, she does recommend Pearl 8 and 12s and stuff like that. I'm just using my DMC. All right, so for the leaves we are doing fly stitch. Super easy to do as well. So you can see here, that's all we're doing on the leaves. But the thing is, we actually have 70 of them to do. So that is a lot of stitching that we're going to do. And so basically that's all. Yeah, we're just going to get some colors out. I'm just going to check the pattern, and I'm pretty sure she's just done like a lighter color or a darker color. So on the green, she's done on this pale green, from what I can see, she has done a, we got a sheet where it tells us what colors she's actually used, or are we just winging it? Let me just have a look here. We've got instructions on how to do them, so that would be good. Colonial knots, running stitch, chain stitch, whip stitch, blanket stitch, herringbone stitch. We've got a lot of stitches on there, and I don't see any chain, blanket, stem, herringbone, colonial. I don't see any fly stitch. That's not handy. Alright, where the heck would that be? Is it on this one? No. Oh, interesting. Maybe it's on these ones. Let me just have a look. These are your trace out ones, so I don't think they are. Okay, so from what I can see, there is no colours that she's telling me to use. So I guess we can just make it up as we go. Let me just have a look here. Whip stitch, fly stitch. No, definitely no colours or anything there. No colours there, no colours there, no colours there. Alright. Whip stitch, running stitch. Nope, there's definitely no fly stitch there. Alright, I will have to let her know that there is no demonstration for fly stitch on that. So yeah, so that's what we're going to do. Alright, so I'm going to pull out some colours, and from just looking at the picture, from what I can see, she has used a dark red on the red leaves. She's used like a greeny sort of lighter green on the dark greens, and the olives, and then on this lime green she's used quite a bright green, and I'm thinking that that one might look okay, and oh, actually this one would be better. I think that one. So 470 for that one. I'm just going to put a leaf with it so I know what I'm doing. The red one, I'm thinking that I want to go with like a, well, that's almost the same color, so I don't want that one. I'm thinking maybe a Christmassy looking red, maybe. I don't know. I don't know about that one. We've got 347. That's almost the same color. 349. Or maybe 349. Because you can't really see in the picture, you can't really see it either. Yeah, 349 I think I'm going to go with, because that's too pale. So that's for our red ones. And then that's not the right colour for that one. So on the olive green I might go a dark. Got an itchy nose because I'm playing around with I'm going to go 469 for the dark green. And for this one here, I'm going to go a little bit lighter, and I'm going to go with a 472. What do you reckon? I reckon those colours there look pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. Yep. Oh, where's my red leaf? There's my red leaf. I think those colours there are pretty good. Yeah. I'm just looking through the camera. I'm actually really liking that. I really, really do like that. All right. So I have my needle here. That's not my needle that I was using. Where is it? It must be over here. Yep, there it is. Alright, so I've got my needle and my little pin cushion so I don't lose it. I've got all my leaves up there, and I've got my colours for them. Alright, so I'm just going to set them aside, out of the way, so I know that that's what colours is going with each leaf. You know, like, you think that I would probably do a little bit of prep off camera. But anyway, all right, I'm just going to grab my drink. All right, so I've got my little needle here and my pin cushion, and I'm going to start with some red ones. So I'm going to pull off some floss, and I'm going to use 2 strands of floss. know why that's on there, but anyway. Yeah, so I'm going to use 2 strands of floss, and I'm not going to make it super long either. Like, I could if I wanted to, but that's when you're just going to run into problems with knots and all that sort of stuff. Put that back there so I know that that's where it's got to go. So the other day, I had a shocker of a day the other day. I had all intentions of putting out a crafting with DDs, and I was going to be making I was just going to do some Christmas trees because Fat Quarter Shop has just started their Christmas time so along, and so I was going to do that, but I needed to make my little mini quilt first for the Christmas trees. I'm just going to do 9 and then do a block in between, and it's not a mini quilt as such. It's actually probably a little bit bigger than a lap quilt, just to have it in the lounge. And then there's a couple of pattern pieces in there that I can turn into little cushions to match it and decorate the lounge room. And they're not in your traditional Christmas colours either, so it makes it for us here in Australia, they were more it was more like the colours are more blues and aquas and stuff like that, so I like that sort of stuff. So yeah, and I basically filmed, and then I got interrupted, and I paused it, went and did what I had to do, and then came back and thought I unpaused it, kept going on with what I was doing, and realised that I hadn't unpaused it, and I basically did an hour and 20 minutes of filming without actually filming anything. Alright, so did you notice too, like the leaves look like they're going the wrong way? So the round, like I would have thought that the round bit would have been coming from, but it's not, it's that way. So they're like teardrops instead. So yeah, just be aware of that when you go to do it. Like, we're going to do a fly stitch, and so I haven't done too much with fly stitch. So whip stitch, it looks like this when it's on your leaves. Okay, so that's what we're going to go for, and I get a little bit tripped up with this every now and again when I'm starting it, so I'm just going to put a knot in the end of it. There we go, in the end. Okay, and then I'll thread my needle. I dropped my scissors the other day and bent my tip. So disappointed. Alright. Okay, so we know what it's got to look like, and I'll just get rid of all my stuff, so that's there. Alright, so what you do when you do whip stitch, and hopefully you can see this okay because it's a little piece that I'm working with. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to come up a little, just a little bit away from the edge of your wool felt, and then directly across that we're going to go back down. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to come up, down, not in between, but down a little bit. Okay, and we're just creating like a little V, and so we're going to come up, and if you come up too high it'll just make it a line, so you actually have to come down a little bit. So you can see there I've come in there, gone down in there, and then come up through there. Okay, and hopefully you could see that okay. So where I want my when I start, wherever I want my little V to be, so I want it to be there, that is where I'm going to come up roughly. And as you can see, I've got quite large fingers, so holding these little leaves is not optimal, and really I probably should have just traced them out and then done the embroidery on the big sheets, because that would have been easier. So you can see there my little V is not going to go any further than that stitch, and then I'm going to come down about 1/4 of an inch. I'm just going to eyeball that. Okay, and then I'm going to go in. So essentially you're making a little Y, so you can see that. Alright, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up closer to my little side one here, because I want to create a V all the way down. Okay, and then I'm going to go in directly opposite that, And this time I'm going to come up at, like I've done it, like when you do a back stitch and you come back up. All right, so I'm going to bring it up where I went down with that last straight stitch. Okay, and then I'll just give that a little bit of a pull, and you can see there that I've just created a little fly stitch. Okay, and then I'll come down 1/4 inch, give or take. Oh, no, I won't. See, I always make mistakes. Oh, yes, I will. Sorry. Oh, it's one of those days. Oh, I tell you, I had one of those days this week on DDs, crafting with DDs. What a schmozzle that was. So basically what happened was the Fat Quarter shop has started their Christmas time free quilt along and stitch along. And so they have, like, I think it's a mini quilt that they're a mystery stitch along, a quilt along rather, and that's what I'm doing that with Shell_Trails. And I went to start it on Thursday. I haven't started it now, but what happened was I've got some Kate Spade fabric here that I really love, and I want to use it sparingly. And so anyway, I pulled it out, and I thought, last year at Vlogmas I made a scrappy Christmas tree block, and I'll leave a link down below where you can go and watch that. And I made a scrappy Christmas tree block, and I was going back to that because I lost my crafty mojo and all the rest of it, as you know, at the beginning of the year. And so I thought I'll go back to that today, and what I'll do is I will because I'm going to make 9 Christmas trees, and then I've got some bigger print fabric in that collection, and it's Kate Spade Aurora. And so I thought what I'll do is I will cut some 8-inch squares or something out of the Fat Quarters, because it's a Fat Quarter pack, and then that way, or maybe 6-inch squares or something like that, and then build it, like just make a little square to go between each. I'll probably do it at a 6-inch block, and then center it and have a little bit at the top and a little bit at the bottom, because the Christmas tree is approximately 13 inches. And I thought, cool, I'll do that. I'll make some of those. I'll do crafting. I'll film crafting with DDs. I started filming, then Neroli got called in for work, and so I paused everything and scooted off, because she only works 2 minutes down the road. So I mean, she could have walked, but it was quite a warm day here on that particular day, and she's got these big boots, and she's got really small feet, so the boots are a little bit big for her, because that's the only size that we can get in steel caps for her. And so they're probably half a size to even a size bigger, and it's quite arduous for her to walk down with those boots on, so I just drive her to work. It's neither here nor there, and pick her up. And anyway, she come out, and I paused everything, and off I went, and I come back, and I thought I unpaused it, and I kept filming, and it was about an hour and 20 minutes of filming that I did, and chit-chatting and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, I didn't unpause it, so I packed up my stuff and went and sat on the couch. Because I got really cranky that had happened. So hence why we only had a short go up on Thursday and no crafting with DDs, because I didn't do very well that particular day. Oh, it happens. I've done it before where I thought I've pressed record and done a whole tutorial, and yeah, and I just pack up and I go, because the tutorial won't be good if I do it again. Like if I do it straight after I've done that, it won't be good. It'll just be me sounding very frustrated because I've had that situation. And yeah, so I just packed everything up, made myself a cuppa, sat on the couch and watched New Amsterdam. And that's what I did. And I did a little bit of stitching. I didn't want to do anything other than doing a little bit of stitching and watching TV, so that's what I did. So I put up a short instead, which it was I had done some quilting. I was planning on putting that up on Sunday, but I had done some quilting during the day as well. And yeah, so I put that up and tried to get myself back into a positive headspace and all the rest of it. All right, so that's what fly stitch looks like. Hopefully you could see that. It's really hard with these little pieces, and I've got very big fingers. So you can see there that that's what it looks like, and it's on the back. It looks like little V's. Okay, so to finish it, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to take go under this little stitch here and take a little bite of the felt without going through to the front. Okay, and then caught up on my pin cushion there, and then I'll just take another little bite without going through to the front. So you can see I've not gone through to the front. And then I'm just going to, my neighbours have been good today. They've just stopped playing with the car as soon as I started recording, which is great. And then I'm just going to snip that just like that, and then I'll set that aside. So we're going to repeat that for all of the so it's going to look cute. I don't think it's too dark, and I don't think it's too light either, like it's not smack in your face. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that color. And this will get stuck down, and then we'll whip stitch it and all the rest of it. So I'm not too concerned about that knot, because you're not going to even see it. But that's what it looks like on the front. That's what it looks like on the back. Okay, and we're just going to continue that on, and we've got a lot to do. I think I've got there's 4 colors, and I think I've done 15 of each color. So yeah, that's a fair chunk of stitching. So when I do my knot, I'm going to do it with a bit of a longer tail, okay, because that means that and give it a bit of a tug. So I'll just make the knot will end up being a lot smaller, and then I can trim it off closer. Okay, does that make sense? All right, so I'm going to come up. So these 2 here, I've done where I've come down a little bit. I'm actually going to try and get a little bit closer up to get a little bit more stitching on it. So I'm going to do like a little one at the top and see how that works. We're just going to play at this point. So directly across, and then just create my little loop, and then I'm just going to come down a little bit and see if that gets me closer up there. And it does. But is it going to look any good? We'll see. I think it looks alright. Yeah, that's cool. Alright, so I'm going to come down 1/4 inch. So as I was saying earlier, I've been so busy doing stuff for the magazine and everything, I just haven't had time to get stitching done. But that's what these little hour-long videos are about, so I can get some stuff done. Because as you seen, like I haven't got the borrow finish, and I haven't done any more back stitching on the tree because I'm fairly time poor. So this way at least I'm getting something done. Like we might be sitting here for the next 4 or 5 weeks and whatnot. So but it's better that I'm getting something done than nothing at all. All right, so going to go directly across. That's it. I thought I was not going to get there. You know when you're coming up from the back, oh, I pulled it too tight. You know when you're coming up from the back and you sit there and you sit there and you sit there and you're trying to come, you're trying to come up where you need to, and you just keep missing the mark. That has been my embroidery experience for the last, did I miss that? Oh, I did too. That has been my embroidery mishaps for the last couple of weeks. Like, I'm like, what are you doing, Nicole? You're being not very good at this. Let me just unpick this one. Okay, and let me just pull this a bit, because I pulled it too tight and then I thought I got it and I missed it altogether. So I'll just pull this out. All right, let's try that again. See, I have those moments. I'm sure we all do. So what else has been going on? Not a great deal. Savannah has been doing her mock exams for her end of year things. She's been in quite a mood. she was talking to me the other day and she got quite rude to me, and I just said to her, if you're going to be like that, can you please just leave, get out of my space, because I don't need to be spoken to like that. And then she started carrying on, and I just said to her, I basically got really cranky, and I just said to her, I said, just remember that I'm the one that runs you around everywhere, and I'm the one that drops everything when you need something. So you can treat me with a little bit of respect. Anyway, she walked off and she huffed, and I'm like, whatever. Anyway, did I get it this time? No, I missed it again. Ugh. Come on, Nicole, you can do this. Too much talking and not enough. Alright, let me just unpick this and start again. Alright, that one from the back. So yeah, she was really, and I know that she's under stress, but that's still no excuse as far as I'm concerned. So, and she just looked at me and she knew she'd crossed the line because she was quite rude, and that's so out of character for her. So I know that it's revolving around her exams, but hey, you're gonna have to deal with stress in life, and you're gonna have to treat people with respect. And if you can't do it at home, you're definitely not going to be doing it out in the real world. So I'm going to pull you up on it. She later, and now, like, this was yesterday, and so now she seems to be pulling her head in. Today she was like, and again, like today she needed something, and she's like, oh, because I'm filming this a day ahead, by the way, too, because I'm away for the weekend. So this was a Friday, and so anyway, she decided that she was going to be rude to me, and I pulled her up and all the rest of it. And then today she's at school, and the first thing is she rings me up, as it was just before morning tea, I think it was. She rang me up and she goes, oh my god, I forgot my charger for my video, for my computer, and they're not going to let me out to go and get it, yada. Can you ring the school and tell them that you need me to come home? Tell them it's a family emergency. I said, well, okay, because it's like they're doing mock exams and stuff like that, but she has to do it on her computer, and her computer was going flat. So I rang them up and I said, look, I sort of told her half truth. I said, my husband is he's heading to Brisbane, and I've broken down, and I need Savannah to come pick me up so she could come home and get her charger. So that's what we did. But again, like, and I just said, and I reiterated to her when she come home, I dropped everything for you, so you need to start treating me with respect. And she's like, I'm really sorry about yesterday, Mum. I said, I don't know what like, you've got to deal with this stress some way. You can't just I know that I'm your mum, and I'm the person that you can take it out on, but that was quite uncalled for yesterday. And she's like, yeah, I'm so sorry. So hopefully we have now finished with that rot, and yeah, she's done really well. Like, I've done really well. In year 2 she had a bit of an issue, like they do a net exam here in Australia, and she almost had an atomic meltdown over that. And she was in grade 2, like she's 8, 7, something like that. Oh my gosh, what was it going to be like when we get to year 12, when she's going to be under the pump and all the rest of it? So I pulled her up on it, which I'm glad that I did, because she's recalibrated herself, and she's checked herself, and she's realised that, yeah, I knew there was something up because she's been a bit off for a couple of days and whatnot, but she's pulled herself up now. So yeah, all right. So we're getting our little fly stitch done now. I don't know what I was doing before. Just having a moment. Since the last time we spoke I haven't really spoke much about this, but Neroli has got her learner's permit, so we've gone out a couple of times. I am pretty confident that she's going to be okay with her driving. That she's just got to slow down a little bit, because she's done a fair bit of driving around the workshop and in paddocks and stuff like that, because she's had an interest in driving, whereas Savannah didn't. She feels a little bit too confident. So I'm guessing I'm going to be a hell of a lot grayer by the time I finish doing driving lessons. But Brendan put a new stereo in the car. Excuse me. And it has a camera, dash cam in it. And so I was trying to explain to her, because we're both short, so it's really hard. When you're short, you've got to use your car bonnet a different way to be on the road. I know that sounds really weird, and a lot of short people will be going, yes, you do, and you've got to line your bonnet up in certain spots and all the rest of it. And I was trying to explain that to her, and she sort of got it. But there is actually a feature on the dash cam which shows you how far away you are from the car in front. It has an alarm if you're going outside the lines, which is distracting, so I don't think I want to put that on there. But we'll go out onto a back road that's got lines on it, or pick a really quiet day, and I can show her that, and then she'll be able to get that visual as well, of where she is and whatnot. And because it also records while we're driving, she can play back her lesson, which Savannah didn't have that, and Savannah was terrible for going into the soft dirt on the side. So I'm hoping that this will help her to become a better driver, to a better gauger where she is on the road and all the rest of it, because she is short. Because Savannah is actually taller than Neroli. Savannah is probably, I'd say, I'd be willing to say she'd be half an inch taller than me to an inch taller than me, and she's still got some growing to do. So but then again, it's not hard to be taller than me. I'm 5'4", I'm average size, and Neroli is 5'2", and I would say she's finished growing. Her great grandmother was short as well, so, and then I've got short people on my side of the family as well, so I'm going to say that she's going to be that size. She may go up. Come to think of it, I actually I grew about an inch when I was 18, so she might still have a bit of a growing spurt. We'll see, but yeah, so it was a little bit scary, but at the same time, she's a confident driver, which is, is rare for someone that's a learner. Okay, so see what I've done here, but I'm okay. I'm going to leave it, but see how these have got a nice angle on them, but this one doesn't. And it could have been a bit closer as well. So instead of coming out down here, I could have come out up here and got a really nice angle on it. So I might unpick that, because that's going to bug me. See how it's almost going straight across. So that's what you sort of want to avoid. These videos have actually been really good for me, because a lot of time I'll just go, oh, it's all right. I can live with that. It's only one stitch. And all the rest of it. But it's actually making me look at my work a little bit closer. I don't want to become a perfectionist, because I think that just robs the joy of doing the craft. I just want to, I want to do it, but I want to do a good job at the same time. And when you're gas bagging, like you're sitting here chit-chatting and all the rest of it, or you're with a group of friends at gas bagging, you miss things. You get a little bit complacent. But because this is on camera, I'm paying attention a little bit more. So instead of, like, I came out, I don't know if you can see it or not, but I came out there, I'm going to come out up here closer to this. So I'm thinking that as I'm going, like, this one's probably a little bit too far down. I should have come up a little bit further. I could have got a few more stitches in. And this is the first time I've ever done anything like this as well. So I am totally winging this. And she's got just looking at the paper, she's got quite a few on there as well. So, like, maybe I need to aim for that. And I'm curious to know how she's got that stitch there. Like, I can't work out how to start it. Like, yeah, hang on, let me have a look at the thing. Does she go all the way down? Yeah, she does. So she must do a back stitch to begin with. I'm going to try that on the next one and see if we can get it looking. So I don't know if you can see that, but see how she's got that little back stitch at the round end? And she's doing them the same way as me. So is that right? Yeah, so so these will get attached onto the tree and the spines will look like that. And she's got that little back stitch. I mean, it doesn't really matter if it's there or not. Like, do I want to get hung up on it? Do I want it to be a carbon copy? We'll see how hard it is to do it. And if it's hard, we won't do it. How's that sound? That sounds like a plan. Sounds like a me taking the easy way out. But yeah, but you sort of get the general idea of what I've got to do, right? That you're sort of getting it? Yeah, see, that's going to be a much better V. So I will endeavour to get as close as I can to the... Did I come up? No, I was supposed to go down. Oh, Nicole, you're having a shocker. You're having a Barry today. We call that a Barry in this house. I've been having one of those weeks this week. I've got a lot on my mind with the magazine. And I'm trying to get myself, because what will happen is I will get faster and faster and faster in my head. So what I'm trying to do with these videos as well is take a moment and just pull back. And that's why I want slow stitching with crafting with DDs. I'm doing slower styles of stitching, you know, getting projects done and stuff like that. I'm trying to pull back. I'm taking everybody's advice and trying to pull back and doing things that are a little bit slower, that need me to take a little bit of time to think about things. And is it working? I'm making lots of mistakes and I'm pulling myself up on those mistakes. So I'm going to say yes, it is working. All right, now that's going to work a lot better for me. Yeah, now that looks heaps better. Wouldn't you agree? I agree. Alright. It's so weird having a conversation with myself. I'm expecting people to answer me. No one's going to answer me. I'm sitting here by myself. So I could pretty much finish that off now. I could go down and then that'll be done. Because, I could probably get another one in. Can we? Let's see if we can. I can always unpick it, right? And as I said, this is the first time that I've done... No, I'm not going to get another one in. I'm going to finish that off. This is the first time I've done anything like this. So this is all me. And I'm not going to watch any videos or anything like that. I am just... And I like to learn things that way because I am a big believer in that you learn from your errors. And, I mean, you're not going to do it again if it's wrong, if it looks wrong or it doesn't look good or anything like that. So you do learn from your mistakes. Yeah, that looks cool. I'm happy with that. All right, so the next one we're gonna try and get that. See, like you can see better on this one. I'm gonna try and get that extra stitch there just to see if I can't get it. Like you can see, that was my first one. That was my second one. And there's my third one. So you can see as I'm going along, I'm getting better at it. Like here I've split the, let me just get my little pointer here. Here I have split the thread, so it's sitting a little bit wonky. Here I haven't done it tight enough, so it's sort of raised off. And here I feel like my tension now is getting better, although I did split the thread here, so I don't want to, I mean, it's not going to make much of a difference. Overall, you're not really going to see that, but if I'm striving to not split my threads, I want to be mindful of that I don't want to do that. I don't, like, it's not a bad look. It doesn't look terrible, but I want to be mindful that I don't want to split those threads. So what I'm going to try and do now, and I like how many are on this third one. So you can see here I started with a small and I've got a bit close. This is probably a little bit too far. Could have got a little bit closer with that one and got an extra vein in there. So I'm pretty happy with how that's starting to look. And I mean, overall, you're not going to notice those first two. So as I said though, this is the first time I've ever done anything like this. Like on this scale where I'm doing lots of embroidery, and like I have done wool felt stuff, but it hasn't been a lot of embroidery on it. Like I've done some French knots and stuff like that, and I haven't worked with like little tiny bits either. Yeah, so you can sort of see what I'm saying there. It's a work in progress. So if I come up and then go down, that, no, that's not going to work. Let me just take that knot off. I don't know how she started it. That's, and all right, so I'm going to start it as like a back stitch, and I'm going to go back one. So being mindful too, I've also got to still do whip stitch on this to anchor it down onto the to the tree. So yeah. So I don't want to get super close to the edge, do I? All right, so, oh, I know how to, yeah. So she's done a back stitch, and then we're going to do our up, and then down. Maybe I should have watched a video or two, yeah. And then we're going to come up in that back stitch, and that's going to give us our first V, and then it's going to give us that little stitch that is missing off these ones. And so there's my little first fly stitch, and I've put enough tension on that, and then I'm just going to come down a little bit, about a scant 1/4 inch, and lock that into place. And then I'm just going to, yeah, and I want to go a little bit closer to the I want them close, but I'm not going to go super close to the edge, because as I said, I've still got to whip this down. I mean, the whip stitch is probably really small, because looking at that, you can't really see. Oh, maybe she's used back stitch. No, she's used whip stitch, so you can't really see the whip stitch. So yeah, so I'd say that it's quite small, so I don't need to be too hung up on it. I am all thumbs today. Unbelievable. All right, let's get that into the felt. Man, yeah, I like that a bit better. Yeah, it doesn't really make much of a difference. I suppose it does look a little bit incomplete on this one, but this one it's not too bad. But yeah, I'll just keep going with that, and come up. Pretty easy to do, like once you get into the rhythm of it. And I will say it is harder to do it on camera, to remember to talk and also you know, stitch at the same time. It's not something that is like, it's not second nature is what I like. It's, you can do it, but it's not second nature. You do run into like making mistakes and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, it is handmade, so it doesn't have to be perfect. But if I can strive for some sort of uniformity, it'll be good. But I will say, if you've got big fingers, okay, get a chalk pen, like a Soline or a bow and chalk pen, or even this sort of chalk as well, and draw out your leaves, okay, draw out the leaves, and then do the stitching on the big piece of felt, because this is so fiddly. it's going to take me a while, so I'll probably take it with me on the weekend so I can get some stitches into it, because it is super fiddly. Like, I can't believe how fiddly it actually is. Had I known that it was going to be this fiddly, I probably would have done exactly that and just left it in one piece, traced them out as close as I could, and then yeah, just marked out the stitching and stuff like that, and then gone from there. I don't know if that would have worked or not either, but it would have been, for me, I think it would have been a little bit easier to deal with the bits and pieces. So yeah, nothing against the pattern, just I've got big fingers and it's hard to hold little pieces of fabric. But you get this sort of general idea, right? But I am thinking, I've got some smaller needles there. I might, for the next one, I might use that, because I'm running out of floss here. So I'm going to end this off because this needle's huge. Alright, it's a little bit short, but it's fine. It is fine. That's what I'm going to go with. I'll try these smaller needles. They're a little bit easier to handle than the big one for floss, I think. See how we go. Alright. Do a couple more and then I might head off, because I've got to take Neroli to work. And I've still got to edit this, and I've still got to do a fair bit of stuff for the day. But you can see what I'm doing, and you can see that it's going to be fairly easy to do. It's very like, once I get into the swing of things, and as I said, it is a little bit harder to do on camera because you're talking at the same time as you're trying to craft, and it doesn't always go hand in hand. So alright, so we're going to do a back stitch. I'm just using a cross stitch needle right now to go through the felt, and it's going through fine. If I was going through the fabric, I would definitely use the chenille needle or the Sashiko needle, but for the felt, my little cross stitch needle is fine. And I think that's what I was also making me a little bit awkward too, is because I just did it again. I feel like I'm going to stab myself with those sharp needles. It's definitely a slow stitching project. But that's what Slow Stitching Saturday is all about. I'm liking it. Like, I actually really do like it. I like the colors that I've chose as well. Like, it's not too bright and it's not too dark either on each leaf, like on the red leaf. So, and red's always a tricky color to pick, because, you know, like, you've got your blue based ones and then you've got your orange based ones, and red's such a hard color sometimes. But changing that needle has made a big difference. So for the I'm using, when I go to got fluff on my nose now. When I go to stitch through the fabric, I'm definitely going to need a sharper needle. But for these little pieces and whatnot that I'm doing, you can see how easy that, like, these aren't dull needles either, but you can see how easy that needle is going through that. So for the felt and everything, I think I'll just use my little tapestry needle. And I think that's like, I was worried that I was going to stab myself, and that needle that I was using, it is sharp. It just got me a couple times in the knuckle and it hurts. Like, it really hurts. So I'm thinking that for the felting, I'm just going to use this little cross stitch needle, and it's working fine for me right now. How I'll go stitching through multiple layers, it still should go through okay, because it's just felt. It's not anything super thick or anything, but going through the fabric and the felt, yeah, I'm definitely going to need a sharp needle for that. But as I said, I'm not here on the weekend, so I'm going to stop in at Spotlight and get myself some more chenille needles. I do not know what happened to my needles. I really do not know what happened, but they definitely have left the premises. All right, so I'm just going to feed that up through the back. Trim that off, because remember, this is all going to be stuck down, so get rid of that long tail. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how that's going to turn out. You can see what's going to happen, like how it's going to go. What do you think? Definitely something that I can do sitting while watching TV as well. So I will probably take this little dish, because there's 70 of these flat little things to do, and then we've got all the flowers and everything too. So what I think I will do is, this week I'm going to concentrate on my borrow and the leaves. So I'll alternate. I'll do half an hour here, half an hour there for the borrow, and hopefully get that finished. But I'll also focus on these leaves as well. And I'm just going to put a couple more. So that was that one I had to finish because I couldn't do it then. I'm going to put another one in there because it's just not enough on it. So yeah, so I think that's what I'll do, is I'll just move these into the lounge room, and then when I sit down in the lounge room with Brendan in the evening, I'll do a couple of leaves here and there. If I make it that I'm going to do 5 or 6 leaves a night, I should have them pretty much almost done by the time the next time I check in. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Alright, that looks a bit better now. So I just put an extra prong on that. I think that looks better now. I don't think I'm going to do too many knots on it. I think I might just weave them, because I don't want it to be raised up either. So, because it could make it look odd sometimes. But there we go. That is... Oh, done a couple. So yeah. Alright. But that is whip stitch, and that's what we're going to be doing on their leaves. So next time that you see me, I will have all of it, not the brown one, but I will try and have all of these done. And I've got my colours now, so I'm just going to actually put, because I don't need, oh actually I do need the CXC, so I'm just going to write, I need it for the weekend, so I'm going to write on here the colours that I'm using. Red leaves, so I'm using 349 for that one. I'm using 470 for the lime green, and I'm using, oh, go away fluff, 469 for the CX, for the dark green, and then for the olive green I'm using 472. So the greens are 469, 470, 472, and then the red is 349. So if you are playing at home, that's what colors I'm using, and that's for DMC or CXC. I don't have I do not have a Cosmo conversion. Oh, itchy nose. All right, so I won't put them back in their exact spot. I will just sit them on top because I'm probably going to do some of this tonight anyway. So I'm going to close that up, put my leaves back in here, and then they're all together. Make sure my scissors are there and leave that there. Pop that there. All right, so that is what I'm going to continue doing that. As I said, it's getting late in the afternoon and I've still got to edit this and get it up, and I've got to take Neroli to work. So I'm going to head off for now, but you can see from that what we're going to be doing for all the leaves, and then you can see here we've got a lot more embroidery and stuff to do. These circles and the birds are going to be a little bit easier to do. So I'm going to focus just getting the tree stitch down, and I'm going to focus on my borrow and getting the leaves done. The tree I will work on if I've got time. I mean, it's only back stitch, and I do have a couple of appointments coming up, so I could possibly take it with me and just do that while I'm sitting there waiting. I've sort of fallen back into reading again too when I'm waiting for appointments with dentists and all the rest of it. So and then all these flowers have to be sewn down, and then there's a whole heap of embroidery that goes around them. So there's like colonial knots and whatnot, and then there's this whole garden scene here that is still got to be done as well. A lot of this I'll probably do off camera, to be honest. And I mean, but then again, you know, I can sort of, like, I could probably set up the camera and do a time lapse of some of it as well to speed it up a little bit. There's always that option as well. All right, but that is it from me today. I'm going to call it a day and head off. I hope that you are all having a fabulous weekend, and thank you to everybody that has been messaging me and asking me questions. And I had one lady send me a message on YouTube I seen just before I pressed record about where to get the threads from, so how to order sashiko needles and sashiko threads off me. You can just contact me on Instagram, but I will reply to your comment as well. If you contact me on Instagram, or if you're in our Facebook group, send me a message on Facebook, and then that way I can basically, yeah, I can confer with you and you can get what you need and I can send it to you. But that's it from me today. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share across the social medias. I would greatly appreciate that. And we've also got a buy me a coffee link down below. If you would like to donate to the channel to help support the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. But I'm out of here because I can hear her at the door, and I will see you all again next time. Bye for now.